First step, the easiest step, right? One that never causes conflict or problems, right? The general should agree with the head of state on the character of the war in which they are engaged. And the Civil War is very, very simple, right? Of course, the other military theorists we studied, Clausewitz says everything that's very, very simple in war, the simplest thing is also very difficult. What is the character of the American Civil War? Of course, to the Confederates, it is an interstate conflict. And for the most part, when we study the Civil War, the general approach and attitude is to approach it as an interstate conflict. One nation sends its armies to fight another nation's armies. However, the Civil War is a bit different. It's not an interstate war, at least not in the Northern mindset. In the Northern mindset, it is an effort to win back the hearts and minds of the people of the South to the Union. And Lincoln and Jefferson Davis basically lay out this, they agree on this concept. That this is, as Lincoln says, a people's contest. Jefferson Davis says the war is based on the consent of the governed. And the decision in this war will come down to, the outcome of the war will come down to, where do the people side? So when we think about the Civil War, we think about it in sort of the triangularity of the struggle. Northern and Southern armies fight each other, but they do so with a mind on, with an approach on influencing the Southern people. And as you're making strategic level of war, you got to think, what are the ends? What are the ends you're trying to achieve? What are the means you have to do that? And what are the ways you are going to do it? So when we talk about the Civil War at the Staff College, and we talk about, the first question we ask the students is, what kind of war is it? Again, the initial impulse is to say, well, the armies are maneuvering. It must be like a Napoleonic interstate World War II conflict. But there's a deeper conflict here. It is a war for the hearts and minds of the Southern people. The North is trying to figure out how to get back their consent, or the basic assumption of Northern is, we've already got their consent. We're not coming to oppress and occupy the South. We are coming to liberate the South from the few manipulative slave power folks who created the so-called Confederacy. And the objective of the North is to get the people of the really loyal people of the South to reassert their loyalty and overthrow that band of yahoos who created the so-called Confederacy. Of course, Jefferson Davis views it differently. We are the legitimate rulers of the South. So the North and the Confederacy are going to fight each other, but constantly with an eye out to how their actions influence public opinion in the South. And this shapes the limited war strategy of the early war of the North, in which they are trying to wage a limited war, trying to conciliate Southerners. We're waging operations, keeping an eye on the Southern population. How do we get their hearts and minds back? And the Confederacy wages much of its strategy is dictated by what will the Southern public expect us to do. The Southern public expects us to be aggressive operationally, and on the battlefield, well, we sort of have to keep an eye on that. Do the Southern peoples expect us to defend every inch of our territory? Well, that's something we at least have got to make an effort to do. Of course, that fails in early '62, but that's ahead of our story.